Good day, YouTube. I'll do one here, back for another video on Thursday for the pagan perspective. Today's topic is a very serious topic. I find many pagans have been struggling with this particular concept. It's a very long question, so I will go ahead and jump straight in there and just basically address it. Put simply, the person who created this question is basically asking about using magic to protect themselves or retaliate when there are situations where they feel like they're being attacked, or people are throwing negative energy at them, or just using protective magic or offensive magic in general. This is a question that revolves around karma and what could happen to you. You know, something similar to the rule of three. Whether or not things come back to you 3 times fold, and so on and so forth. At the beginning, when I first joined this channel, I identified as a Wiccan, eclectic, shamanic witch. And I said that I would rescind the read if needed to protect myself. And I still feel that way, although I may not be using the Wiccan nomenclature anymore. I do feel that I only respond with magic if things are dire. And over this past year, I have had situations where things were dire, and I did need to respond with a magic type of response. One in which I knew that this could cause some type of harm to the recipient, but this only happened after numerous times of turning the other cheek to bring up that Christian saying, or looking the other way, and giving them multiple chances to, basically, stand down and to kind of leave things alone and leave things where they be. And I had to act, specifically because my loved ones were beginning to become affected. And that's why I took action. I fully feel that it's important to be able to return any kind of magical response towards someone, especially when family members are becoming affected or attacked. Never feel like, this is my opinion, never feel like you need to take damage to your loved ones. I decided to deal with the situation myself. I have certain things in place. You might call them wards and things, where things tend to bounce around when they come toward myself. I've got certain deals with deities and things where things tend to not bother me as much. But when they start to affect my family, I honestly lose all respect for that person's life. If their quality of life is highly diminished as a result of my magical response, so be it. And if they should lose their life, so be it. I feel like I do have things in place to deal with them on the afterlife as well. So this, that is one thing you do need to remember, that, that your flesh body is only one life. Once you pass on, you will have to deal with what you do when you pass. And these people who do pass, they also have to be dealt with in the end when they are energy bodies. As far as protective measures against things like that, obviously stones are always a great thing, so long as they're cleansed and fed properly. If you're into chaos magic or thought form creation, you can definitely create a thought form to help shield you from these things, or help you send a proper response. I've had people who literally tried to project themselves into my dwelling to see what I'm doing because they were angry at me. Of course, I have things that can detect that, and I even let that pass before I make certain responses. So it's always best to protect yourself. Don't feel like you shouldn't protect yourself. And as far as karma goes and the rule of three and the return of the energy, I feel like so long as you don't try to kill the person, you should be fine. Because remember, you're responding to their infraction. You're responding to them sending something at you. So if you turn the other cheek, or if you look the other way several times, you've done your best to help the universe kind of help them realize that hey, what they're doing is wrong. And don't forget, they're going to get their own karma anyway, and your response could just be nature righting itself. This is the way I see it. Now, as with anything, When you perform these magical responses, you should ground, you should center, and even before then, you should probably do some type of divination on it. You should do a tarot card drawing. If you're a shaman, speak with your deities and spirits on the other realms. Find out what the response may be to you, because sometimes the magic could bounce back and you could have what this person fears. But 9 times out of 10, when I do the divination, it doesn't show that anything bad is going to happen to me, because I don't try to kill the person. So I hope that answered the question thoroughly. It's a great question. I actually like this one a lot. It's one of my favorites so far. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next week back here on the Pagan Perspective. Thank you so much. Stay safe. Don't forget to respond if needed. Blessed be.